I recently blasted this e-commerce brand right here to over $5,345 every single day in revenue. I'm gonna show you exactly how we scale this fashion brand despite, number one, having a low search volume for the products, or number two, having plateaued in terms of the revenue due to the search volume itself. Because if we look right here from year to date for this brand, we can see that after scaling since the earlier portion of this year, from February, March, and April, it had reached this level of plateau in May. We started working with this brand in late June, so June 30th is when we really started launching different things out. And if we now go on over to their Google Ads account, we can actually see that they actually even started spending money on Google Ads side of things at the beginning of June. So that's when really things were very slow for them. They decided to get help, and by the end of June we were working together, which is when they essentially started getting results with Google Ads. Now, this brand did things a bit differently. Instead of wanting to just be profitable on the first sale, this brand decided to be fine breaking even or even potentially going in a slight loss. And this is because they had already reached the very peak of Facebook Insta growth, and they were really not able to push this more at a profitable level. So essentially what happened during the month of May and early June is they stopped putting so much money on Facebook. That's why sales dipped a bit, and that's where that plateau was hit. And then June is when we came in, we started running Google Ads, and that's when things really took off. And now the campaigns on Google Ads side of things are starting to really gain momentum. And as you can see, we're already up 108% year over year, but also from the previous period as well. If you look at the previous month, the brand is up 42%. So things are looking very profitable. The main reason for this profit and for this scale, however, does not start from the ad side of things. It actually starts from the landing page side of things. And to illustrate how their landing page looks like, because it is a fashion brand, I am going to pull up this page right here, which is very similar to what our brand that we're working with did, right? When you land on this product page right here, it's a fairly simple layout, nothing too crazy at first glance. At the top, there's the little header bar which talks about certain discounts, certain shipping options that you get. You get free shipping with $50 and above orders. And then if we scroll down, there's the product page with the product, the title, etc. Pretty straightforward, nothing too crazy, but there's now little slight additions that really made the brand crush it with Facebook, with Google, and it's these little upsell things right here. So for example, for this brand, it says add a bestseller sticker pack only for $5. So if you just click this little checkbox, now your order is increased by $5 and you get this bestseller sticker pack along with it, which is a very interesting way to do these upsells, because not a lot of brands out there actually have something like this going on. Right there, they already stood out from the crowd, but that was not the only thing they did differently. When we scroll down, we see these very unique, very beautifully designed trust badges, which kind of relates to this Viking theme and this Viking brand name itself. It says Viking Goods Company, and this is a Viking ship. It's a pirate ship, so it kind of matches in that sense. There's a little trust factor here which says over 33,767 happy customers, and then it also talks about satisfaction guarantee. So these are uniquely created trust badges, which is very important in 2023 and onwards. But then moving on now, there was a description as well, very straightforward description with all of the right words, SEO keywords, etc., with the sizing charts. Landing page really was where things really started to bring traction when it came to Google as well, because I mean, if we go to the Google Ads campaigns and look at the conversion rates, the overall conversion rate for this brand is at 1.26%, which in the grand scheme of things may not seem a lot, but the reality is the products that this brand sells, there's very low search volume. So this is where this plateau was getting hit. If we look at the early portion, so within the month of June, we can see exactly what kind of ad strategy we started to launch for this brand. And the ad approach, the ad strategy we launched here, it was actually fairly simple. We started initially with a branded search campaign because that's the only thing that they had going on in the beginning. But once we really started the campaigns, we wanted to kind of take things a bit further. We wanted to now start incorporating cold traffic, and that's when we started running 3 different campaign types. Now, we started this Performance Max campaign and this dynamic search campaign. Now, with the PMax campaign, during that time, we wanted to take things a bit differently because we knew that there were a lot of products in the store. However, because there was low search volume, it was going to be difficult to showcase all of these products properly. Because if you just see right here, there's 4,157 different SKUs, and it's just a bunch of different sizes of t-shirts with very low search volume. So we could not just rely on shopping campaigns here. So this is where I kind of went against my normal strategy, which I always recommend, which is to start with a feed only campaign approach where there's no assets, no signals, and you just launch this. We started two different asset groups. One was the asset group with a bunch of different images, a bunch of different logos, headlines, long headlines, etc. The normal approach, and with no audience signals, because we wanted to test how the algorithm would act without any kind of influence from our end. And the second asset group we tested was the signals test, where now we did have assets, but we also had audience signals. So we wanted to see if this would directly positively influence the campaign or negatively influence it. And from what we understood during that time, based on our test within that first initial month, we understood if we open up and add some columns in here in terms of conversions, conversion value over cost, conversion value, etc., we can see actually which one performed the best. So during this first month, there was barely any data coming in. We only got 5 sales. It was for the feed only, and it was a 0.52x ROAS. And the second one was the asset group number 1, which was without any audiences. That was a 0.86x ROAS. So a little bit better, but still very poor results. So all we did here was we just let the campaigns run because there was nothing else we could do. There was no additions that we could add in terms of new products or any new approaches. And as we can see, the results improved slightly. Now the ROAS went for the first one to 1.66 and 1.51 for the one with signals in it. But overall, we didn't want to do anything too fancy, anything too crazy, because again, we knew that there were a lot of limitations within this brand. But once the PMax campaign had started to run, once it had started to get some decent results, because it was at a 2.15x ROAS and their break-even ROAS was a 1.7x. So it was actually very profitable for us. Once that was happening, once the results were improving, that's when we decided to now introduce more campaign types. So there was a search campaign launched, which is just for a collection. One of their best-selling collections on Facebook and Instagram is just with a very broad targeting. We also launched a campaign, a standard shopping campaign that's running on enhanced CPC. It's called the catch-all campaign. We want to run this campaign with a very low bid so that this can act as a campaign which basically catches all of the products and all of the potential sales which might not go through from this main original PMax campaign. So the approach there is very simple and very straightforward. And then the last one was just a simple collection-based search campaign that's for the brand itself along with a category. And even now, when we're well into the scaling phase, we're keeping things fairly simple. The only thing we're doing right now, along with just these simple approaches, is just number 1, focusing on the main Performance Max campaign, improving the budgets there as needed. But number 2, also optimizing the feed. A lot of the products that actually did not have search engine optimized titles. So far in the last 14 days alone, we have kept the ad spend to be also very low on the Google Ads side of things. It has only spent around $1,700 from Google alone in the last 30 days. It's spent around $4,200, and these numbers are not fully accurate. The numbers are a bit higher. We're using an external software called Triple Wheel to attribute the sales and to look at the data properly, but it's well above a 3.5x ROAS at the moment. But again, if you're doing $40,000 or more per month in revenue, you need just a little bit of extra help scaling your brand to the next level, go on to my website at yourmarketing.com and book a free call with me to see how we can potentially work together and make that happen.